Mr. Vai.
What's going on, brother?
Welcome back. Welcome back to the studio. Welcome back to Behind the Brand. You know what? Let's first talk about the real reason why he got you here. I like to be real and raw. I'll start off by saying this. We actually didn't plan this, like to get you on, but there's a reason why you're on here. Long story short, I had a little bit of a mishap with our previous guest that was meant to jump on. And we actually just done work together just today. I don't know if people can see on Rob's face right now, but he's definitely out of it. But, bro, thank you so much for jumping on, man, and covering us up.
Got you.
How you feeling today? Talk
Yeah.
us through, bro. How you feeling?
Yeah.
Just today. Just today.
Today? Yeah, well, I was pretty tired, ready to go home. And then someone... nah, anything for the bro.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm feeling good. Like, we had a pretty good day.
Yeah.
It was just pumped. Like, it was, good energy today because big numbers, bro. Big numbers. Penrith. We just had our clinic out there with the girls.
yeah.
Man, it is actually the hub for rugby league, boys and girls. So just seeing that base, we pretty much like started out there in ways, but it was good. It was good.
Yeah, man. And crazy enough, I think a lot of people don't know I do a lot of the content creating stuff, the major work that you guys do in terms of like your clinics and stuff is to us, which I'm grateful because if I look back, I was there from the start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk them through that, like through the process on how we connected from the business sense?
Yeah. Well, it all started when it was more of a personal reason. I talked in the last podcast about Caden, my son, not having any family photos, and I think he had just turned 1. So I told my wife, to Mariam, I was like, oh, I know this guy. He does photography. And we've seen some of your work. So then I knew, I'm like, all right, I know this guy from footy.
Yeah.
I'm just going to reach out to him. And it was good. When we did it, I thought from there, oh, this guy is like the man. Like, he has a footy background. You know, like he didn't have that tendency where you meet someone and you have to get engaged with them. Are they trustworthy? Are they good? And then when it came to the time I needed work, I needed people to do stuff because I was doing it myself.
Yeah.
And I loved it, but I just didn't have the time to do it. And I just reached out, went from there. And man, some of the stuff you put together for S2S, it's just taken it to another level because everyone has their own good. How would you say, they got the nuggets, like in every service and business or whatever. But bro, it was online at a perfect time. And we are looking at, in the next 5-10 years, NRLW clubs at every NRL club. But it's got nothing to do with that, why I do this. I do it because they need it. And it's solely and purely because of that. And the message getting across is like, wow, look at this stuff that's going on. Bro, it's just a matter of a good cameraman, you know, and editing. So that's why from here, we've fast forwarded 6 months.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, I think even longer now.
Have to be.
Yeah.
October, November, December, January, February, March, April. Yeah. About 6-7 months. So, no, it's been a good journey, bro.
Yeah. It's funny, we actually talk about it a lot, me and Rob, just about how far we've both come on both ends, not just S2S, but also TKV. And the great thing about both of us is that we've actually played a part in helping each other, not just in the goals that we're wanting to achieve, but even just personally, which I love.
100%.
But yeah, I just wanted to, you know, although this is like an authentic, you know, type of a podcast, I did have something to start off with that I wanted to do as part of like a culture when we get people come back on to talk about business. And it's going to all start off with this one question, which is, what do you want to talk about? What's on your heart right now? Now, the reason why I wanted to ask that question is because we both know from a business sense that, you know, we always try and talk to our partners or talk to our families about business, but we never really have that platform to just let a bit of steam out or just share about what's currently on our heart. And actually have people that are listening into, like, let's say this podcast episode, and they're actually wanting to hear what you got to say. So my question to you, Robert Vai, is what's currently on your heart now that you'd love to talk about? And let's explore that for today.
Positive or negative?
Up to you, man.
From a business sense?
Up to you.
Anything?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just pride. Like, I have a lot of pride in what I do now.
Yeah, right.
Probably a couple months ago, I would have been saying, yeah, you know, like, we're growing, you know, and in that baby phase, in the growth phase, and we're still there, but I'm just taking so much pride in the fact I did put in hard yards and we're still on the way, but sometimes you just got to know that there's a difference between ego, pride, and I'm proud. But I've always learned that you can't ride that wave in footy or whatever, just in general. We always talk about footy analogies and that, but I guess just, how well it's come together because I had to get uncomfortable, put myself into situations where I had to push myself. And, I guess that's one thing that's sitting on me right now where I'm at that next step that I've found. Yeah. And I want to go next step. Like, I want to go next level. And I'm confident, man. Like, I'm so confident in what we do and the people that, like, I'm confiding in, the people that have an interest in the game, the people that are supporting the game. I can't ask for anything better right now at this very stage. And I'm ready to propel myself into the next phase, into the new challenges, what's ahead. Yeah. Yeah, so it's real talk. Like, you know, you can't always go around saying, yeah, this was great. Like, gratitude's one thing, but I do feel a sense of pride. And it's no ego. Like, that's just my feeling. But it's given me reassurance that what I'm doing, this is what I've been working towards. I'm just pumped to go next level, man. Yeah. Look at me, bro.
I know. Check this out, guys.
So, wow. Is that real? Oh. How about when I was at school, right? Yeah. Teaching PE. You know, like, just when I was running and I was pulling up my socks and I pulled it down and you could see, like, you know, you got cigarette butt legs because it's really wide at the bottom. And then someone said, ew, sir, put your socks up. I'm like, shut up. It's just like, it doesn't faze me, but it's funny, eh? But other than that, bro, put in these hard yards and to talk about it, I think the most important part, you need, like, for me, you got to know the type of person you are. I do have to talk about it. Like, I journal, you know. Yep. I note take after every training session, after every clinic. I'll go home, whether it's a few notes in my phone or whether it's something that, I'm very critical, but to talk about things, I'm big on that. So you got to find the right people to talk to. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's funny, like, people don't know this, but me and Rob. Oh, you know what? Let's bring it up. So, a couple of months ago, I do remember this one time when we had a chat. It was like at 10 p.m. And
wasn't the first day. Yeah.
We had a conversation. It was like around 10 p.m. And like we stayed up for like 3 or 4 hours, bro, just chatting. Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't know, like, about our relationship and how, I guess, connected we are together. But essentially, I think that's where we started. Like, that's when we really started to kind of mold and mend together in terms of, like, our relationship, both personal and professional too. Because I think it's one of the hardest things to balance is how can you be personal, still have the personal relationship, but at the same time be, like, professional. So if you look at our roles, it's like, we're pretty much boys, but at the same time, like, you're the director of S2S and I'm your content guy. So I wanted to ask you just on that, like, well, I got like a few things I wanted to go through, but I'll go through the relationship side of things. How do you, or how are you able to kind of balance the two? Like, this is the time to be personal, this is the time to be professional. How do you balance that out? Because it's very interesting, man. Like, I see a lot of other people, they can't do that.
It's that trust. Because when it's go time, and it's like, when it's go time, it's show time. Like, we're on. Yeah. And I think the respect we have for each other, and we know that this is how much it means for TKV, and this is how much it means for S2S. We're both dedicating towards helping each other out by helping ourselves out. Yeah. So if we do our own good job, then we know we take care of the other person. So, in terms, yeah, like, man, you think about how many people you can count on one hand that you can talk on the phone for longer than an hour.
Yeah.
Like, think about it, 2 times a week. Like,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, being able to open up, connect, and trust someone that's got your back, and to be straight up with you. Like, it all starts with values. I value honesty, and I value someone that's I can trust. Okay. So for me, I know, yeah, I don't think it ever crosses over, but whenever you have, those two things intersect based on how strong, I guess, the mateship is and friendship, it allows for more, whereas you completely separate as soon as you don't have that connection with someone.
Yeah, true.
And like, I'm always that type of person, man. If I get on with you well, like, to me, like, it's got to be pretty good. But if we don't, then I know how to keep it professional.
Yeah.
In a sense where I just leave it. But things like this I really appreciate. So in terms of balancing, yeah. How about you? What do you reckon?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with it. The reason why I wanted to bring it up is because I know it's rare.
Yeah.
It's very rare to have that personal and professional relationship, and being able to discern what is personal and what's professional and how that coincides. So, like, a good example would be like your coaching style. Like, even today, a lot of people would see it and be like, "Oh, that's Robin. That's who he is." But it's like, no, that's not who he is. That's just it's not the mask that you put on, but it's the style of coaching that you have.
Yeah.
And that's how you are. And then outside the field, bro, you're just a genuine guy. But a lot of people can see that and be like, "Oh no, you have to be the same person everywhere you go." So yeah, that's why I brought that up. But I guess my view on the personal and professional side of the relationship, you definitely got to just find out. You have to figure out like how to cut through what is professional and what's personal. And I think if you're not aware of the two differences, then you probably don't know each other that well.
And I think what you do, you run the risk of becoming resentful.
Yeah.
So if you're on the phone for half an hour trying to escape that conversation, you're going to resent that conversation, aren't you? Because you don't have that boundary and you don't actually have that, whether it's a lack of common ground or a lack of established boundaries. I think we align very well with our values. So it's quite easy to know where our boundaries lie. But until then, man, I think it's, it is rare. But like so many things like that you value, family, your sister, her footy, your footy, experience, journey, all these things. That's why it makes S2S and TKV just mesh because of who you are.
Yeah, that's true.
And for me, even though you've got overlaps with S2S, I was doing my own content and just sitting on CapCut, subscribing to something, and just, for me, I see everything and I notice everything you do, I value, because I can see what it actually takes to be on your side, and you see what it takes to be on my side
100%.
because of, like I said, with Linnea and things like that, like your family, your baby sister, like it's all meaningful.
Yeah. Wow. I'm definitely going to touch on that right now. Like, I think that's what kind of draws me a lot more towards S2S, and I guess always looking at going beyond, going beyond, like, what can I do more? Like, today, for example, like, there were certain contents that I was thinking about, like, okay, how can the videos that I'm producing for S2S be more helpful, not just now, but also 5-10 years time? And looking at that avenue and going, like, way beyond what I'd usually go for other people. So, definitely looking at, like, just going back to what you're saying with, like, the values and stuff. I think that's definitely what's held me grounded towards, like, continuously investing in you and into S2S.
I think it's something like, as a PE teacher, you teach all these things about identity, and it's so vague because it's not explicit. If you tell, young people or anyone, and just in general, write down the 3 most important things in your life, sometimes it's hard to say. Like, everyone's going to say family, but no one's going to say your PlayStation. Or no one's going to say, like, gaming or connecting on, on that level where you're competing or whatever it is. But when you know truly how you connect with someone, and it draws back to why you value what they value, that's how you really understand your own identity and others, and why what do they say? Birds of the same feather flock together. I don't know that does with that, but I just take the assumption that if you have the same values and you align in certain ways and you sort of are similar, maybe that's an appearance thing, but I don't know with that analogy. But yeah, I definitely think it all comes back to you got to be explicit with clearly understanding what you're real about and what you value. But yeah, I won't bang on about it. But it's awesome. You really need to find someone that you can have solace in. For us, it's our partners.
Yeah.
But this business, like we talk business, everything's overlapping with what you. Because I know, like the other night, like I fell asleep at the computer chair. And I woke up, I'm like, damn. Yeah. And it was so funny because the first person I wanted to tell, I was going to call you when I was on the way to the to the clinic. And I was like, oh, man. But, bro, do what you got to do. Yeah, so it's important.
Yeah, I totally can relate to that too, man. Like, there's been so many times when I'm editing. This guy knows this, like, because we do have chats. And I think it was one time you messaged and you were saying, I think it was on Insta, you're like, oh, yeah, you're still up. Like on Insta, and I am up, but like I'm doing like either work or and stuff. But you know what? I think in the season that we're both in, we're actually in quite a similar season of like growth, and it's just like we're just there. We're just there. But I want to ask you, following up on that, man. Like obviously, since the last podcast episode that we've done, you've definitely learned a lot of lessons in the business. I wanted to ask you, man, if there was anything that you want to share in terms of like the biggest lessons that you've learned recently, what would it be? In business. Silence, that's what he said.
Just knowing I'll get there. Might be long, but if you persist, yeah. Because all I think was where I was, I don't even know how long ago it was. Was it last school holidays? Maybe it was like only a month or two. But preparation's key, man. Preparation's key. Because I knew I needed to get these things sorted to aim and achieve this. And I was just so certain it was going to happen. I was certain that there was going to be improvement, but I didn't know how much. But I'm just, I think knowing that there's no rush. Like there's never a rush. You can't just jump in and react and think, got to do this, got to do that. Always goes back to strategy. And just learning more about that, why it's so important to have deep thoughts. That's probably in a vague way I'll take out of it.
I was just thinking about that too. I'm going to hold that thought down. So there was a moment this year that you went through, and this is the thing, a lot of people don't see what's happened or what actually happens behind the scenes of running S2S or behind a brand or running a business. But I think, one thing that was on my mind I just wanted to share to you, bro, is that like it's actually okay when you don't hit the nail on like what you're wanting to do. And I noticed that the past, I'll use myself as an example. I had a goal that I wanted to achieve for like TKV within the space of 3 months, and bro, I ended up getting burnt out. And I was going to be like full like authentic here, and you know this because you're probably one of the first ones I'm telling after. Like after I kind of went a bit of like, sat back for like a week, didn't do anything, and then jumped back in. And I remember having a conversation with you, but essentially, people don't realize that we're going through stuff behind the scenes. And I wanted to kind of bring this up because I think it'll be really valuable for people out there that are tuning in. Was there a moment for you recently that you're comfortable in sharing, where you kind of felt like, I think I'm thinking of chucking the towel in, or I'm not too sure if I want to continue going through? Any struggles that you went through that you're open to sharing?
Oh, there's definitely been times where I've been like
sleeping,
or lack of, or I'm just like, yeah,
Trying to pursue it and push through.
you know, you want to give extra, but you just got to go to bed. Or you just got to do this or got to do that. And yeah, the priorities always need to be aligned. Otherwise, if you just muddle that up, then you can ruin other things. But yeah, it's definitely that barrier that you sort of hit that wall. But what I've noticed, I'm pretty good at identifying that.
Yeah.
Like,
You're really self-aware.
Yeah, like you and I talk a lot about, like, you know it's happening, and you know you let it happen. But me, if I'm seeing it happening, I'm like, nah. I just put on the caution lights, and I just take a few steps slowly, and then just sort of step back. I'm like, all right, let's go. You don't want to spoil anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though I'm known to just go hard at wanting to pursue ideas and things like that, when I can feel the warning signs are up, I'm pretty aware.
Yeah. That's hectic, man. The technique that you have the ability to do that. I do too until I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my story, and you already know this, but just for the listeners out there, like, I think it was after I ended up doing my first wedding shoot, I was like, after that, I realized I had so much on my plate to do. And then I shut down, like, out of nowhere. And kind of went a bit MIA, like, for, like, probably just under a week. And it's funny, I think the reason why I reached out, the reason why I had a chat with you first was because we usually have chats every week. And that was the first week that we didn't. And then on the Sunday, I got a message from who? From Robbie. And he asked, hey, bro, just hope you're all good. And then I was like, I think I'm not good. You know, then that's when I reached out to you, said, bro, I think I went through a burnout, like, period, like, the last week. But everything was just all in my head, man, including this too, like, running behind the brand, you know, trying to get people in, jumping on board. It's not easy, man. It's definitely not easy trying to do what we do. But, yeah, just going back to what you were sharing, I think a lot of people just don't understand that as we're trying to build something to kind of, you know, feed our families and all that stuff, a lot of people don't realize the sacrifices that we're making. And I guess the consequences, or I guess the repercussions, that's probably a better word, repercussions of what happens on the journey. Lack of sleep, lack of food. Like, we literally just had our first meal of the day.
What?
Yeah.
What hungry? Is he kicking on the table?
Yeah, it's like, oh, damn. Where did that bottle come from now? Yeah. But, yeah, a lot of people don't see it. And you know what? Even relationships, man. Like, you start to realize that your relationship's a bit, you know, wishy-washy than where it was before. Like, people don't know this. But at the end of the day, and this is like, I'm going to finish off with this before we wrap up. Like, we go through all these struggles and stuff, but my question to you, man, is what's keeping you going on all this? I did ask you this in the last podcast, actually, like, what keeps you going? I feel like you'd have a different answer because you're actually going through that season and stuff. So what would be the one thing that keeps you going, knowing that there's so much, you know, struggles that you're going, not struggles, I'm not saying that you need counseling or anything, but we all go through phases of, like, you know, lack of sleep and all that stuff, just to get us towards pursuing that goal. So, yeah, what keeps you going, bro?
Because I know it's working, and I know it can only get better. Like, I'm driven by the fact that we're the biggest girls rugby, and I'm going to give myself a plug, but bro, we are the biggest in Australia girls rugby league program, period.
Specific.
Girls only program, period. And you know what? It's working, and I've seen this for years, and I know it's going to get better and better and better. And that's just pushing me to think, you know what? There's no reason why I can't go next level. Even if I got hit with, like, you know, things not going through the plan and, you know, it not turning out with big numbers and it not being successful, I guess the success is all in the preparation, and it actually getting to that level is, boom, it's there. It's in the package. But how do you put your effort into preparing all of that towards that package? That's why I know I'm gaining, like, man, the product itself, like, our rugby league coaching by Ovington is, you know, Bulldogs. He'll be coaching at the highest level one day. You know, we've got other people that we confide in, Nick Wolfgram, and
Yep.
bro, I just know like this is something that's you've got coaching, you've got business, but as as what it stands for, man, where it's gonna go, I have huge faith in where it's gonna go, and I always back myself. I wouldn't get myself into something where I knew,
Okay, a bit iffy.
yeah, like I've said to you in the past, like, you know, doing a presentation, I could sense that some parents and even some of the people around me, like, they turned around and said, "Whoa, that was actually good." But man, I've been making PowerPoints
Exactly.
for years.
Yeah.
You know, I've been presenting for years, even though So, just as a product and service, I just know that, man, I'm getting so many parents. Like, I'm talking about my people, bro. Like, Tonga and Samoa, like my Pacifica community, is turning around and saying to me, like, with full gratitude, they're saying, thank you. You know, thank you for looking out for my daughter, for training my daughter, for coaching my daughter, for giving her, like, an opportunity. And for me, it's just like, wow, you know, like, you know, I'm dealing with something here it's obviously bigger than me, and it's bigger than all of us. It's giving them the hope, because for so long, when one thing hadn't existed, families have just put, you know, girls into sport just, you know, to keep fit and active. Man, getting a parent to turn around and say, I think she can make it, it's just amazing in itself. Like, obviously we don't want them to be like pushing them until they're out the door, but to know that they have belief in their daughter, and sport is creating a whole avenue for life for their families, and it's now centered around the daughter. I'm just like, man, you know, growing up with two sisters, wow. Isn't that amazing? I didn't have a brother, and if I did, I'd be playing first grade. Nah.
Grip.
Hey, when I talk about repetitions, I would have done 300,000 passes at the back if I had a brother.
Yeah.
But to see how sport can change lives, that's why I know why I'm in this and where it's going. It's going to the next level. So, like I said, man, it's not cockiness, not arrogance, not ego. Like, I just feel that I want to make sure this is unmatched. And I'm going to put my hard elbow grease in, put as much work as I can. Because, that's what I've done for years with my rugby league and studying teaching and blah, blah, blah. But there's nothing better than what I'm doing now. So that's what's driving me, if that answers your question. Because I know it's there.
Yeah. From what I'm hearing, and I'm glad that I actually know a bit more about you than what other people do. But I did sense that your sisters would have been a key factor to it, growing up with, you know, you being the only boy in the family, and that taking such a, not even a toll, but it's something that you bring life into. The fact that you can instill like wisdom into these girls, not just your. It's not even just like the skills and the tackle tech. Like, all that is just, yes, it's valuable, but if you look at the deeper why, it's like, imagine your sisters having this. You know, they'll definitely be playing. If they, like, you know, if you had S2S back in the days, the way that S2S is growing now, and the way that S2S has invested into, you know, the coaches and, you know, all the other, like, you know, other things that you've invested into, imagine how far they would have gone into potentially having the opportunity to play like NRW or Harvey Norman and stuff. They had that. Because, just based on what you've shared to me, like, you've got your older sister who's in the dancing scene, and then you got your younger one that was in the gridiron scene. Yeah, so it's like, where's the rugby scene in that? And I think it's just the fact that there was no, like, platform or there was a space where, like S2S is doing now, like, really showing the game, the female game. Exactly. Would you say that would be something that would be, I guess, another inspiration that would have ignited East to West to be where it is now?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I always look back when I was at school. There was one of the students who was a female. Her name was Lope. Lope was the only girl in that whole entire grade that would play with the boys. Would play touch footy, and she was like, very yeah. She didn't hold back. She'd put shots on the boys, and she was like that. But the only one in PE to go 100%. The only one at lunch who wants to play touch, didn't care. But you just think about the insecurities the girls have to face today. As a brother, as a fellow brother of a young girl, like for me, I am so glad my sisters grew up how they were. And in this day of age, to have a sister in a world where there's so many horrible influences, it's just the amount of resilience they need to have going through this social media age. It's terrible, man. And sport does that. Sport is quite literally a shield that can keep you away from all these negative things.
Keeps you grounded.
Yeah, it keeps you grounded, keeps you away from thinking about this, looking at this, or thinking about this. Man, there's way too many things that for young girls that they have to be thrown at, and it's just, I just hope that sport continues to be this positive avenue. And that's all I want to do, man. My PE lessons, I had to separate the boys' game and girls' game. That's why. Just so that the girls can all be playing. And I always made that environment safe and respectful. Did I have a boundary? Yes. You come to class on time and everyone does the activities. But here's your environment. I separated them and they loved it.
Yeah.
And they knew the expectation. But think about this, think about in this day of age where so many girls have so many insecurities. They're seeing things online. They feel like they're going to get judged. They don't feel like they have self-worth. That's terrible. We never had to deal with that.
Yeah.
We just go and play sport. Not one thought came across our mind unless, one of the boys, what a hard-out guy. One of those haters that were like, relax, bro. I just think that if we can, and the same with the boys, there's so many ways I could target how young males can also, and I work with young males at school too. But these females, it's
a different ball game too. The girls,
it takes a lot more understanding, a different set of skills. I feel like I can work with both. Like I always go back to that. Not saying I'm just only with the female athletes, but I just know that there's a level of empathy needed. Otherwise, these girls, unfortunately, if they don't have the right caring type of attitude that is considerate and empathetic towards them, training session, you lose them. A training session, a PE lesson, you just lose them, man. And that is, for one PE lesson, that's 45 minutes of activity and movement and de-stressing. And I ask all of my year 7 kids from year 7 to year 10, I say to them at the start of the year, 3 things that benefit you with physical activity. Number 1, I don't even say physical. I say number 1, it reduces mental health issues. Number 2, it allows you to feel better about yourself. And 3, then it prevents disease. How come we're it's an injustice that we're letting these girls not having full ability to participate and feel comfortable? I think, school, sport, all these things that come into factor. I've seen it, bro. I've been in so many Western Sydney schools.
It's not even funny. Yeah.
Right, and it doesn't matter if you're at school or not. A lot of females just face that, whether it's stigma, whether it's self-esteem, whether it's judgment. Like they shouldn't go through that, man. It's not fair. Sport changes lives. Let's let them enjoy it. So that's all. Yeah. My final message, man.
Yeah, it's kind of like sounds like your mission, bro. Sounds like the mission behind that, behind East to West. And it's funny, like I just listened to you share, and I'm like, yeah, Rob's really he hasn't had the opportunity to kind of voice out like his heart behind it, which I love. I love the fact that you're voicing it now, and you didn't voice it first, like in our first podcast, and then try and act it out. Like you already acted it out, as in like you've already you've already shown it. You've already put the action in.
Well, let's look, okay, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, you take footy out of your life. What's your life like? I take footy out of my life, I would have no clue who I'd be, what I'd be doing, and we always go back to this conversation.
That's so true.
Sport is one thing, But if you're a footy player,
Yeah.
you are the
Yeah.
alpha. But it comes with privilege, and that territory, we were the benefit of it.
Hard.
Others, there were, I should say others, there are people that take it the wrong way and think it's a whole pedestal thing. No, you're privileged. So use it wisely and don't abuse it. Okay? And even people in administration levels and things like that, like the Spider-Man saying with power and but yeah, man. So that's my mission, man. Like I want people to experience the positive life lessons and things that rugby league for me. I went to private school, went to uni, became a teacher. Boom, 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 boom. Everything happened in life because it kept me on the straight and narrow. Let's do everything we can to make sure every kid out there can have that aspiration and then fall among the clouds, they say, or whatever. Like shoot for the moon and fall on the bloody stars, or let's not hold back on trying to help them. That's my mission, bro.
Yeah. No, I'm keen, man, and obviously I'm literally by your side, bro. Like going through the trenches with you, man. And bro, I'm just grateful, bro. Just grateful for our relationship. Grateful for what you're doing with S2S. I definitely know that it's something that. But I'll be honest, bro. If my little sister had this, and I'm talking about my sister, my younger one. I've got two. Back then, I used to be like, oh yeah, my little sister. It's like I only have one sister. I reckon if she had this, and you know, she went through this journey, even though she's doing quite well right now, she'd be much more ahead in terms of like the specifics. Because that's what you do, bro. Like if you look essentially at the S2S, you've got a kind of like, this is where I see how the business runs. It's like you got your freemiums and then you got your premiums. It's like the freemiums are the ones that gets people to buy into the like S2S, and then you got the premiums, which is the ones that they buy like literally with their hard-earned money to invest, and so that in return they get all the nuggets that you've learned and all the skills that you can teach everyone, but. And just to finish off with this, I've got the question from the previous guest, so we're going to ask you. I don't know how it is.
Yeah,
but before I ask that, I want to finish off with this, man. If there's one takeaway that you got from today's conversation, what would it be for yourself?
Yeah, just realizing, you know, actually how passionate I really am.
You are.
But what it's aligning to, and there's a bigger purpose, and what I value in life. It's, making sure that what I received and was blessed with in life, people have as much accessibility to get that type of stepping stone, so to speak, to hopefully get there, wherever that may be. Yeah. But yeah, just knowing more about the passion. Yeah. Yeah.
You definitely got that zeal, bro, and that passion. I already knew that from the start. Even just through action and stuff, but I'm glad that you got that takeaway, because that's essentially like, and I think a lot of other people can agree on that. Yeah, is that you do have that passion and zeal. I would take the word that you mentioned in the last podcast, which is obsession. You've got that like real obsession of, you know, if that's the goal that you're wanting to achieve, I want to go for it. But yeah, bro. But before we finish up, man, gotta go through the question, bro. So on ready to ask the question for you, and the question for you today is, what is your current 5-year plan? How about you just ask, what's my current 5-minute plan? Yeah. So if you kind of had to just maybe just pencil it out, bro. Yeah. Like what would be the ideal plan for you in 5 years' time? Would that be better for you to answer? Or?
Ideally, yeah, it'd be. Yeah, I have to think about that one. Yeah.
5 years' time, where would you? Where would
Here's
that
my
be?
5-year plan.
Yo.
After every S2S session, and after school, and after every, I'm driving a ute. And people don't have to pack up my car like a pack of sardines and go, Tetris. So I guess that's one thing. Yeah. That's a plan. Yeah. Yeah. But I just grow even more. But yeah, that's probably more of a deeper strategy I have to sit and think about.
Yeah. Would you say with the 5-year plan, would you say one of it would be to be a household name in the industry? In a female game?
I think we already are. Like, if I'm completely honest with you, like I've speaking to, people about who we are and where we started and who else is around. Like, we pretty much the only ones doing what we're doing, and we're the biggest ones that I know of, until anyone can prove me wrong, prove me otherwise. But just growing on that and sustaining it, and making it even more solid, so that you get your S2S, S&C, S2S this, S2S that. I've got all my tickets. It's just about putting it into action.
Mm-hmm. And I think the big one is just patiently waiting.
Yeah.
Just waiting for that time once it comes. We were talking about that actually yesterday. Was, it's like, oh, maybe it wasn't the right time to get it now, but when you do get it, right, it's gonna be bittersweet. But yeah, we're pretty much gonna wrap it up now. Is there anything that you wanted to share before we finish up?
Nah, Josh is the man. He goes above and beyond. Make sure if you ever need content, hit him up, because I'm telling you, NRL clubs out there, NRLW clubs, if you want to work with someone that knows his footy, and if you want to work with someone that knows how to get proper feedback through vision, he's your guy. All right? No joke. You can mic up the girls and hear what all the boys, you can mic them up. You can get because all these things, like I've always thought about wanting to have. I wanted a drone. I wanted to have things mic'd up. I want to hear communication. I want to be able to dissect and analyze training sessions. Yeah, he didn't tell me to do this, but honestly, hit him up. You need to have your feedback if you want to be professional, and I'm already getting that service from someone without even asking. He gone ahead and done it. So I reckon, if anyone out there, that's what I'll finish off with. TKV.
I'm going to slap this guy, bro.
TKV.
Nah, bro, I appreciate you jumping on. Yeah, man, I'm just going to finish off. Is there any... I actually don't have anything to say. I'm kind of blown out, bro. Yeah, bro, appreciate it, man.
Got you.
Thank you guys all for watching this real spontaneous episode. We'll see you guys in the next one.